Coronation Street airs a shocking flashback featuring Summer Spellman tonight as Theo Silverton's murder investigation continues. With both the police and her loved ones suspecting her of the crime, is a confession on the horizon? In tonight's episode, a frantic Summer is stopped by DS Lisa Connor Swain in the street and taken to the police station for questioning. After discovering that Summer was the owner of the brooch found in Todd Grimshaw and Theo's flat, Lisa interviews her under caution. The detective shows Summer a photo taken on the night of Theo's death, in which she is wearing the brooch. She asks how the brooch ended up at the crime scene, but Summer claims she doesn't know. "Maybe it came off in the street after I left Underworld," she suggests, adding that Theo might have simply found it outside. Meanwhile, Todd gives George Shuttleworth the cold shoulder at home, furious that he went through Summer's journal and suspected she killed Theo. Though apologetic, George points out Summer's odd behavior and anger towards the villain. Todd appears to listen to George's reasoning, but when he hears Summer was taken in for questioning, he leaps to her defense again. He has a fiery showdown with Lisa, with an irritated Summer having to calm him down. Back at the house, George insists the police questioning had nothing to do with him and apologizes for going through her stuff. However, when Summer relays the conversation about the brooch, the Undertaker's suspicions are aroused again. "So, you definitely didn't go round to the flat that night?" he asks her. "No," she confirms. "And when I say that I had nothing to do with his death, I expect to be believed." Later, an unconvinced George tries to get to the truth again, and when Summer denies seeing Theo on the night of his death, he calls her out on her lie. "I saw you on the street." Running from the direction of their flat, he reveals, with a flashback showing George stood in the doorway of number 11, as a worried-looking Summer darts past. Though George insists he only wants to help, panicky Summer immediately rushes out of the house. Will she be able to explain herself, or will George be forced to tell the police? The cobbles of Weatherfield have never been short of secrets, but the latest twist in Coronation Street has sent shockwaves far beyond the usual drama. In an unexpected early release on ITVX, viewers were treated to a haunting flashback sequence focusing on Summer Spellman, and what it revealed has left fans asking one burning question: did Summer kill Theo Silverton? The episode opens in a chillingly quiet tone, far removed from the usual bustle of the street. Instead of the familiar chatter of the Rover's return or the clatter of Roy's rolls, the screen fades into darkness before slowly revealing fragments of memory, broken, distorted, and unsettling. Summer appears first, alone, walking through dimly lit streets, her expression distant, almost disconnected from reality. From the very beginning, it is clear something is wrong. A mind under pressure. The flashback structure is fragmented, suggesting trauma rather than clarity. Summer's memories don't follow a straight timeline. Instead, they jump between moments, heated arguments, flashing police lights, and a shadowy figure lying motionless on the ground. Theo Silverton's name is never spoken directly in these early scenes, but his presence is unmistakable. As the sequence unfolds, we see Summer in the hours leading up to the suspected murder night. She is visibly distressed, juggling emotional pressure from multiple directions. Her complicated history with Theo, her guilt over past events, and her growing fear that something irreversible may have happened. One key scene shows Summer confronting Theo in a tense exchange. His voice is raised, aggressive, controlling, a continuation of the darker side of his character that viewers have come to fear. Summer tries to leave, but the situation escalates. The camera cuts sharply, refusing to show everything clearly, instead relying on sound. A crash, a shout, then sudden silence. It is here that the mystery deepens. The moment everything changes. The most controversial part of the flashback comes seconds later. Summer is shown standing frozen, breathing heavily, staring down at something off-screen. Her hands shake. There is a faint sound of sirens in the distance, but it is unclear whether they are arriving or merely imagined. Then comes the image that has set social media ablaze, a blurred silhouette on the ground, motionless. Is it Theo? The show deliberately refuses to confirm it, cutting away before any clear identification is made. Instead, the scene jumps forward in time, showing Summer washing her hands in a public restroom, staring at herself in the mirror with visible horror. At one point, she is shown speaking to someone unseen, repeating the line, I didn't mean for it to happen. But the context is missing. Was she confessing? Was she guessing? Or was she trying to piece together someone else's actions? The ambiguity is intentional. Coronation Street has built this storyline around uncertainty, and this episode pushes that to its limit. Even the police investigation shown in brief flashes suggests that Summer is not considered a straightforward suspect, but rather a witness with missing memories. Still, the evidence against her is mounting, a street divided by suspicion. Back in the present timeline of the episode, other residents react to the ongoing investigation into Theo's death. George Shuttleworth is seen discussing the case, convinced that Summer knows more than she is saying. Meanwhile, Todd Grimshaw expresses frustration that the truth seems to be slipping further away the more they investigate. Rumors spread quickly across Weatherfield. Some residents believe Summer is guilty. Others insist she is being manipulated or falsely accused. A smaller group even suggests she may have been in the wrong place at the wrong time, caught in a situation she never fully understood. The tension builds as each character brings their own bias into the investigation. Theo's complicated past, his abusive behavior, his fractured relationships, and his long history of conflict complicates the narrative further. For some, his death feels like inevitable consequence. For others, it is a crime that demands justice, regardless of his actions. The final flashback twist. Just when the episode seems ready to offer clarity, it delivers one final twist. The flashback returns to Summer standing alone again, but this time, the scene is different. The lighting is brighter. Her expression is calmer, and Theo is nowhere to be seen. Instead, she is holding something small in her hand, a phone. The device buzzes with an incoming call. The caller ID flashes briefly, but the name is obscured. Summer hesitates, then lets it ring out. This detail has sparked intense speculation among viewers. Was the phone evidence? Was it Theo's? Or was Summer trying to call for help after something went wrong? The episode ends without answering. So, did Summer kill Theo? At this stage, Coronation Street is refusing to give a straight answer, and that is exactly the point. The flashback episode is designed to blur the line between truth and perception, leaving viewers to question everything they have seen. What is clear is this: Summer Spellman is at the center of the mystery. Whether she is a killer, a witness, or a victim of circumstance remains unresolved. The evidence is suggestive but incomplete, and the show is carefully avoiding any definitive confirmation. For now, Theo Silverton's death remains Weatherfield's most gripping whodunit, and Summer's fragmented memories are the closest thing viewers have to the truth. But in true Coronation Street fashion, the truth may be far more complicated and far more dangerous than anyone expects. And as the cobbles settle into another uneasy night, one question continues to echo loud.